Oh my. Now in your book you have helped Oklahoma City bombing survivors, 9/11 survivors, some horrific stuff. And the one I think that touches your reader the most is the terrible, terrible childhood abuse that some people have endured and carry with them for the rest of their lives. You can talk a little bit about, again, some of all those stresses.
Well, again, the childhood abuse is a little tougher to work with because, especially if it happened at a pre-verbal age. But I think the key here isn't so much what specifically the horrific event was, but rather that we have finally figured out, after really kind of clumsily making attempts for decades, we finally figured out what helps this. And it's not talking and thinking about something in therapy. And that's huge. Because basically what would happen is we would, and it's the example I use at the beginning of the book of my sort of feckless work with the woman I named Franny. But basically, we would apply our talking, thinking, psychotherapy skills to people, thinking that, you know, that the formula is you establish a good relationship, you listen empathically with no axe to grind, you provide a little empathy, and you ask key questions. At some point, as the person is talking, they crystallize some ideas. It shifts their world. They might have a cathartic experience, and presto changeo, they're all better. And it doesn't work that way with post-traumatic stress. And if it does,
Darn.
if it does, they don't have post-traumatic stress.
And that's how you know.
Then that's how you know. It's actually a very diagnostic tool. But we didn't have anything else to give them if that one shot at doing sort of talk therapy didn't work. And what a lot of people are discovering from many different directions, trying all sorts of things, because therapists, as I was, became very frustrated at making people worse instead of better. You ask, the key thing that you do with therapy is you sort of, you become like a heat-seeking missile as a therapist. You're looking for the submerged pain that people are dancing around, and you sort of want to go and go get that and shine the light of day on it and make it all better. Well, with post-traumatic stress, if you do that, you can re-traumatize somebody, or they'll just get into this opiated state of being totally numbed out and they can't connect to it. It's not part of the memory system that's connected to words. Or, worse of all, they'll just tell you a rote story in a dissociated way that gets them no place. So you want to use much more primitive processes to get to where the trauma sits in the brain, because the trauma is not in the talking, thinking part of the brain. It's in the very primitive survival-based structures, like the amygdala, like the temporal lobes, like all of this very reptilian brain stuff. Talking is irrelevant. But doing things like guided imagery, which hits perception, sensation, emotion, it's right on. That's a bingo technique, as is a lot of energetic work, a lot of body-based work, but it's got to hit that primitive brain, or you're just wasting everybody's time.
Oh my, what a challenge.
Well, a lot of people have figured this out from very different directions. It's actually very exciting. And believe it or not, one of the groups on the forefront of all of this is the military.
Yes. Tell us about your work with the military.
Well, in various VA hospitals around the country, there are some of the best programs you'll ever see for post-traumatic stress. People experimenting with hypnosis, with acupressure, with massage therapy, with Reiki, with meditation, and with guided imagery. Now, the advantage of guided imagery is it's portable. You don't need to be there. It's unbelievably inexpensive. It's pennies or bootlegable even. It's very cheap. And believe it or not, two surveys done of active military showed that of all the kinds of help that a soldier will, we call them warriors now, that's the term du jour. Our warriors will not go for psychotherapy. They don't like it. They think it's demeaning. They think it's a waste of time. It could hurt their record, and they don't want to do it. However, the top preference is audio self-help by way of downloads.
Wow.
So it's like made to order. It's user friendly. They'll use it. They like it. And they can take it with them.